Tiffany here with Cards Crafty Creations. Today I am working with Pajama Crafter stamps. This is my first video with them, and I am going to be using their very cute Wienerful Christmas stamp. And it has these wiener dogs on here with some sentiments for Christmas, and so I thought I would make a project with those. I have, those. And then I have a box from Michael's. This is in their like dollar section, kind of at the front by the counter. They're like $1.99 or 99 cents. I can't remember. I have so many of them. And I thought it would be fun to do a stamp with the stamp set and kind of make a little sign for Christmas. I'm also using Copic's Christmas Joy paper pad. Now, I made quite a dent in this paper pad on a different project, and because I only need a couple pieces, I just thought this was a good paper collection to use. I actually am going to be doing some paper piecing, which I don't know if that's really what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it. And so that's why I only need a very little bit of paper. So what I'm doing on this box is I'm doing a whitewash, but not really a whitewash. I have the folk art paint, which is my favorite, and it's kind of thick, so I had to water it down a little bit just to kind of get it to just put some white on there but still show the wood through it. So that's what I did there. And now I got the stamp set out. I put a piece of tape on the top. Simon Says Stamps monthly stamp sets kind of did that, and I liked it because it keeps the plastic attached, so you just kind of flip it up and down. So I've been doing that with all my stamp sets. And so when I'm talking about paper piecing, that's why I just needed some scraps here. And then also I had a piece of paper that I actually made for a recipe album, and that was a leftover piece, and it's already created for me and I didn't have to build it, so I used that as well for the background. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp this this wiener dog with the Christmas tree on some, I think it's Nina's Solar White cardstock. For coloring, I'm going to be coloring part of it with Copic marker, and then the rest of it is going to be paper pieced with this pattern paper. So I'm going to stamp it what's on white cardstock for my foundation, and then I'm going to stamp it again on the green for the Christmas tree, and then again on the red for the sweater. And then later in the video I will cut those pieces out and glue them onto my white cardstock. So I'm gonna set those aside for a later time, and then I'm gonna get my Copic markers out, and we're gonna go ahead and color the dog in. And I believe later in the video I'll be coloring the rope and the trunk of the tree. But I wanted to get the pieces of paper down first before I colored those. So I'm just going to go ahead and color these up. I did look up some colorings for wiener dogs. I originally in my mind had a brown wiener dog in mind, but then I was like, well, the rope is brown and the tree trunk is brown. So I looked up some other colorings of those dogs, and I settled on the black one. So I kind of used some black and just darker grays, and then a lot of the times the black wiener dogs have like a brown muzzle and feet, and so I kind of did that to give it a little bit more interest, so it wasn't just like a black spot holding a tree. So kind of just gave it some more dimension and character. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this coloring, and then after that I'm going to start cutting out the Christmas tree and the sweater. And then when I do that, you'll see me using like a Sharpie marker to kind of trace around them. What I'm trying to do is kind of color the edges of the paper black so that it kind of blends in with the stamp outline. So anyways, go ahead and sit back and enjoy some coloring. Okay, I'm back. So looks like I got all of the pieces down, and now I just need to finish up the coloring. I saved the rope and the tree trunk for last just because I wanted to make sure that everything lined up nicely with the paper piecing, and these are just gonna be like a very quick coloring with some brown Copics. And then after this, I'm gonna do my white highlights with a white gel pen, just to bring out some more of that definition, like in the dog's nose, just give some reflective spots to it. And then also on the tree itself, I will also even be using my white gel pen to color like the cuffs and the collar of the sweater, to make it look like it's white or fluffy, for those parts of his sweater, her sweater, his sweater. I think I visualize this as a boy dog, but yeah, and then just add a little bit more accents to the elements just to give it some more character. I mean, it's probably really not reflective or anything like that, but I think it just gives it a little bit more interest to add some white highlights to it, even though like there probably isn't any highlights. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that up and give this thing, cut this little doggy right out and get ready for our scene. Okay, so it looks like he's all ready to get put onto the sign. So this is a panel that I made. I like to make some recipe albums with a photo album. And so this is kind of one of the panels I made for that because I simply didn't know how to count that day and I created one too many. So I actually liked that I had it already because it was already created and it has a nice background. I like that it's like a white background with a dark green, just because our dog has a dark green tree and it is in itself is dark. So I thought that would just make it stand out a little bit better. Then I used one of the new, well, it's a die set that was on sale recently, and it has like a happy birthday kind of wave, and obviously this one, which is a stitched, and then there's a punched one, and then like a scallop one as well. And I just used the one with the faux stitching to cut out for the ground or the snow that's going to be behind the dog. And then I also took some dies from my collection of Christmas trees. Well, they're just pine trees, I think, and I'm going to put those in behind him so that he's like in a wintry scene carrying this Christmas tree home. Pretty much that's the scene we're building here. And I'm going to do some dimension in here. So what I'm going to do is take some foam. I'm going to pop up into several different layers. So the trees are going to be a layer, and then I take a black pen and I just do some rough outlining, essentially scribbles, to give even the tree some more interest, because it can look really, I mean, it is two-tone paper, so I mean it's two-tone, two different colors of green cardstock, but I've been really enjoying using marker or pins to give more interest to die cuts and stamps and stuff. So I just did a bunch of scribbles to give the trees some more definition, and so that it'll have just some more elements, I guess. And then I'm going to now this piece, this is the piece that has the stitching on it, but I do use the opposite side that doesn't have the stitching for further in the back. And what I'm doing here is I like to score it, and then that creates the foundation for me to glue it on. So it does dual purpose. It gives me dimension without having to use a bunch of foam, and then it allows me to adhere it to the box base. So I do that, and then this is the one that actually has the faux stitching on it. I'm kind of creating myself a little tab to do the same thing, and then I will use some foam on the area that connects to the other hill. That way I'm not having to build up so much foam to get the layers I want. And I'll often do this with like even chipboard. I'll just get different pieces of chipboard and cut them out, or just chop them up and glue them all together instead of using foam all the time. So that's what I'm doing here, just creating the little hills that are going to be back there. I wasn't, thinking very well, or I would have glued it down much better the first time. It just kind of kept popping up, so I had to keep reinforcing that. And then I'm just going to stamp a sentiment and give that a little cutout to go on the background, and glue him to the outer edge of the box, because that even brings another layer to this project. And here's Seeger visiting. He's my crafting buddy. He's with me like all the time, like every craft he is there checking it out. I think he's learning in this one how to cut out sentiments, and he kept getting way too close to the scissors and making me very uncomfortable. But he will go find something more interesting here soon. But I'm going to adhere that on. Actually, I do put some foam squares on that, because that even is popped up. There's several layers here. And then I brought in some present stickers from my stash. These are like very, very old Jolie stickers, like from Michael's, and very old to where they're like not even sticky anymore. But I think they're very effective for my Christmas projects. And so that pretty much is the project. I think it came out so good. I'm so happy with the paper piecing. That was really fun. I hadn't done that before, and I'll probably do it again, because it's really cute, and it's something other than coloring or painting or anything, and it has character because it has pattern on it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.